Good morning. Week 15 NFL DFS for FanDuel and DraftKings. Jameson, Hutchison, the greatest of all time, Joel Wirth. How are you doing this morning?
Buddy, I am good. I've been waiting all week. I didn't DM you or anything. Just wanted to get your take live on the internet of the return of your hero, your idol, Grandpa Phil, back in the league. Just telling the Hall of Fame, hold my beer. I'm going to go save the Colts season.
It still doesn't feel real. It still hasn't sunk in. I'm trying to be as real about it as I possibly can, but at the same time, I still think he's going to pull it out just because that's how it's always felt. 5 years, no right tackle, going up against the best defense in the league. What could possibly go wrong? But
what could go wrong?
If anybody can do it, it is the greatest of all time, Philip Rivers. So I'm very pumped about it. You know what? Quick story, real quick. I went to Menards this past week, and this person asked me if I wanted to donate, and I said yes. I didn't realize I was buying a toy for a donate. I thought I was just rounding up for charity.
Okay.
And I ended up buying a $14 toy, and I was like, man, I cannot believe I just did this. And then the minute I walk out, I get the news that Philip Rivers has been called, and I was like, okay, this is the yearly. We do this, and then he's going to go to the practice squad. I was like, okay, well, we'll see. Philip Rivers
karma is right there, baby.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to know, just do the Lord's work, and you will get your favorite quarterback of all time to come out of retirement in 5 years. So that, or if you donate, you can get the Kyle Pitts nuke that went off this week. So if you are suffering from that, my thoughts and prayers go out to you. So we've got a lot to get into. I'm sure I'll talk about Philip Rivers here in a few more minutes, but we got 8 games in the early window. We got 5 in the late window. I've got a cold, so if I sound like I'm under the bus, that's because I literally am under the bus. I'm bundled up. I've got 3 layers on, 2 socks, all that good stuff. So we'll get into it here. First game, this is going to be a big one. The Baltimore Ravens go on the road to Cincinnati. It seems like no T. Higgins coming off the concussion from last week. He had 4 concussions, and nobody said anything for whatever reason. So it is what it is. But we got Lamar Jackson fighting for his playoff lives going up against Joe Burrow, who seems like his playoff odds are just about dead. So Ravens and Bengals to kick us off here.
Yeah, morning line has Baltimore -3 on the road this time. They played 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving at Baltimore in the game that Ravens are just the unluckiest team in the league right now, maybe of all time. Just nothing's going their way. 51.5 is the total in this one. So 27.25 implied for Baltimore, 24.25 implied for the Bengals. Man, this just feels like Bengals just got basically eliminated last week. They lose T. Higgins, probably had a double concussion maybe. Hit his head on the field twice coming off the concussion. This just feels like a massive letdown game for the Bengals. So I'm going to be very, very, very interested in throwing as much Baltimore into my DFS lineups as possible this week.
Yeah, I think that people are going to play parts and pieces of this, but I'm not sure if they are going to play the full-on Lamar stack. We just saw last week the Bills had 3 tight ends get there. They had Kincaid, they had Knox, they had that Hawes, that guy looks like an offensive lineman. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to get cute and probably play Isaiah Likely, who really hasn't done much all season, but Mark Andrews is Mark Andrews is the guy that I want to point out. He ends up being pretty cheap, $5,300 on FanDuel. DraftKings is going to be kind of the same boat. It's a tight end slate where Trey McBride's going up against the best defense, so it probably doesn't feel viable to go play up against him. Mark Andrews, $3,900, and then Likely is $3,400 on DraftKings, so he's a little down there. So I like both those guys. Zay Flowers has had, seems like 2 years of just weird luck of not being able to find the end zone, but he's $6,300 on DraftKings, $7,300. Bengals are the worst team of all time against running backs and tight ends, so the big dog Derrick Henry lines up really well. I think he's going to get played a little bit. I just think that we've got a couple games that have these big, we got Bills Patriots here in a little bit. We got Rams and the Lions, so people are going to try to stack those games, and then this one, which can easily go back and forth. I think people are going to try to pick pieces off this one. And I kind of want to lean into it. So I want to lean into it for the Ravens. And then Jamar Chase would obviously be the bring back there. I want to say Mike Gesicki as well, because every time T. Higgins or Jamar Chase is out, Gesicki ends up getting a bunch of work. But, I mean, if you're playing Jamar Chase, you're going to pay for him. He's $9,200 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's going to be right up there. at 8,100. So I like them. Michael Tinsley would be my punt play if you need a wide receiver for the Bengals. I wouldn't play Andre Yosevich. I still think he sucks personally, but
I agree.
3,300 for Gesicki on DraftKings. And then the one guy who nobody's going to talk about is Chase Brown. I know that Samaje Perine has gotten some work, but 6,700 for DraftKings, and then FanDuel, he's going to end up being a 7,100. He's a mid-tier running back in a game that Bengals still have, I think, 3% chance to make the postseason. So I do think it sets up.
Is it that high?
Yeah, 3%. I mean, so still somehow. Ravens, man, they just look like dog shit. Lost to Aaron Rodgers, who looked like he was 20 years, brought back the hands of time last week. Him and DK Metcalf finally go off. So I do think this game is pretty interesting. This is the game that I kind of want to attack instead of the other ones, as far as like the other two big games on the slate. But other than that, I don't think there's really much else on this game. It seems like Rashad Bateman was questionable. I don't really want to play DeAndre Hopkins unless you're playing some large field stuff. So is there a favorite you would probably pick if you wanted to pick something from this game?
No, I'm with you. I like it all. Like everybody, I think everybody's going to go into the Detroit Rams game. That game is almost impossible we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's almost impossible to like avalanche stack that game just because the pieces are all so expensive. So it's really hard to get big stacks in that game. So, and the other high total game is Buffalo New England, which isn't nearly as sexy. So yeah, I like a lot. Like I'm good with doing like Likely and Andrews, like putting one of them in the flex and doing that. There's a lot of tight ends this week, but I think those two could be the top. And Likely's getting targets. So he's getting like 6 targets each of the last 2 games. Just the unluckiest guy in the history of the planet. There's no way that you cannot tell me that catch he had last week was not a catch. Just the touchdown that got taken off the board. No way. Just an unbelievably bad call by the refs and the league. If that's not a catch, then you go back to Calvin Johnson. If that's not a catch, then I don't know what is. So yeah, I think he gets right this week, and yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna be playing Lamar.
No,
just because he looked.
It looks like Lamar.
Yeah, he looked like Lamar last week. So I think he's kind of getting his groove back. It's Derrick Henry in December. I'm good with that. So yeah, I like playing this game. I'm gonna play this game pretty heavily this week.
Yeah, Derrick Henry 8,400 on FanDuel. He is a little cheaper than Saquon, McCaffrey, Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor. So, I mean, Bengals defense is just an embarrassment to society. I mean, it is so bad. They can't tackle. They don't want to tackle. They got no players. Trey Hendrickson's out for the year, so
they may just lay down this week too. I mean, they may just start packing it in. That's kind of the way I'm going to play this game.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume talk about how bad the Bengals defense is. I'm sure you don't want to play the Ravens defense against Joe Burrow.
Not if there's 2 defenses I'm very, very into this week, and neither one of these are included.
Yeah, I figured. So next game here, the Las Vegas Raiders with Kenny Pickett. It seems like Geno Smith is going to be out. Going on the road to Philadelphia, I cannot figure out this Eagles team at all. It makes no sense. I'm tired of figuring it out, but do have to talk about it. So we got the Raiders at the Eagles.
Yeah, we got morning line on this has 12.5 point favorites for Philadelphia at home here. 37-point total is a crazy low total for a Philadelphia Eagles game. So implied of 12.25 for the Vegas Raiders. That's crazy low. And 24.75 for Philadelphia. I'm into attacking Philadelphia this week. I just don't know how it's going to go. It's like, are they just going to just run Saquon Barkley into the ground and just get off the field and go home and move on to next week? Or is this going to be a kind of get right game for the passing attack, which looked really bad last week on Monday night with the 4 picks for Hurts? Feels like they want to get that going. And this feels like a good spot to do it. Caillou Blue Kelly is out for the year. He's not a very big name, but he's been playing pretty well for the Raiders. So yeah, I kind of like attacking this game through the passing game because I don't think anybody's going to want to play Hurts. So if you can get an under on Jalen Hurts, I'm kind of into that. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, I like both of them. Goddard is probably fine, but there's so many other cheap tight end or cheaper tight ends that I would rather play this week. So I'm not really going there. I don't want to fade Barkley entirely because, like I said, they could just say, all right, we're just going to run Barkley all day. But I don't feel like this sets up to be a smash spot for him just because the line just like they're not blocking well. Yeah, again, they could force feed it. This could be a Jonathan Taylor situation where they just force feed him and see what they get. But there's so many injuries on that offensive line makes me feel like it's going to be I just don't see a ceiling game for Barkley. Like you said, he could get fed. It could happen, and I'm not going to fade it entirely, but that's not the way I kind of want to attack this game.
Right. I'm kind of into Barkley this week, and I've said earlier this year I would not flag plant any more Eagles stuff because I got it wrong every single week. And I'm going to lean on the Barkley side, so you're going to be right on the passing situation there. But Barkley, I mean, Vegas just is terrible. I mean, they get Kenny Pickett, so I think like the defense. The problem with the Eagles' defense the last couple of weeks is they played just so many snaps. I mean, they've not been able to get off the field, and I think this is kind of a spot where they can get to Kenny Pickett and then put the Eagles in some situations. But the problem is, if you play Saquon, they get in the red zone. What's going to happen? They're going to get tush pushed. So you kind of lose that equity there. Jalen Hurts is also expensive on this slate. He's 8,700, coming off the worst quarterback game. I mean, who's better, 45-year-old Philip Rivers or Jalen Hurts right now from last week?
Well, I think Hurts in general is probably the correct answer. But yeah, he was pretty bad last week. There's no
he was that bad. I mean, I know I'm a homer, and we'll get to that in a little bit, and that's leaking out right now.
He was bad. He was bad.
God, terrible. But AJ Brown, like they've tried a couple times, and I know he's had some big games, but they have tried to like get that going. So he's 8,200. Devontae Smith 7,400 on FanDuel. It's going to be similar on DraftKings as well. AJ Brown 6,800. Devontae Smith 5,800, so $1,000 difference. Seems a little better on DraftKings than FanDuel, but it's just kind of hard to fit all this stuff because you're going to want to play different pieces. And then on the Raiders side, I have no interest in Genty. I don't want to play Brock Bowers this week because I've got some other tight ends that I like better. I like Kittle on this slate. I'd rather take a chance on Trey McBride. Travis Kelce, I know they don't have an offensive line. I'm kind of into him. Harold Fannin, we'll talk about in a little bit. I like those guys better than
it's tough to get to Bowers this week because there's so many other tight ends I like. But I mean, maybe that's an opportunity. But Philly's really good against tight ends, so it's just he's going to be very underowned and probably with good reason. But always a little nervous to completely fade a guy like that, but not a good spot for him this week. And again, not a good situation with him being the second highest priced tight end with a lot of really good options at tight end this week.
Right. And then Goddard's down here. I just I'd rather play the guys around him. Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather play those guys.
So. I'd much rather play Fannin than Goddard.
Yeah. And then I think my way, if I wanted to play this game, I'd play Saquon. I'd just pair it with Eagles defense. I know Eagles defense is expensive. It's 4,800 on FanDuel. DraftKings, it's going to be right up there too. So 3,800. That's my way. I don't think anybody's going to play much of this game, but that's the way that I would play it personally. Like I said, I can't flag plan it because I banned myself earlier in the season, but I do think it's interesting. Is there I'm assuming you have no love for like Trey Tucker or any of these wide receivers for
no, it's all
Jack Bech.
I could not. Kenny Pickett's not going to be slinging it to his receivers. There's no way. Eagles corners are so good. If there's anything I'm playing the Raiders side, it's Bowers just to get contrarian and maybe Genty again. Philly's run defense has not been good when Jalen Carter's been out. He's out for the rest of the year. So I like Barkley on the other side. I could see them just kind of feeding Genty and him getting 30 touches in this game, but still doesn't feel like an elite matchup for him.
No, not one bit. So next game here. Arizona Cardinals go on the road to the Texans. Seems like a lot of people are excited to play CJ Stroud. I'm going to be honest. I've never woken up in my entire life and been like, yeah, I can't wait to play CJ Stroud, but that's just me. So we got Cardinals at the Texans here. Texans big home favorite here.
Yeah, same here. I've never woken up and been excited about playing CJ Stroud. I've done it. I've just never been excited about it. Arizona 10.5-point road dogs here. 42.5 is the total. So 16 implied for the Cardinals. 26.5 implied for the Houston Texans. We spoke last week about the Cardinals passing game basically being the .com or the 2008 financial crisis bubble. It's going to pop at some point. It didn't last week. We still got a huge Michael Wilson game. Trey McBride was okay. This feels like the week the bubble could pop against this elite Texans defense. Tough to fade Michael Wilson because he's getting 20 freaking targets every week, but not something I love this. I'm going to feel really strongly about it. Again, his price is getting up there. So I think we're with Michael Wilson where we were with Trey McBride last week, where the price is just getting so prohibitive that he's not this kind of super smash he was when he was, 5,000, 5,500, something like that. So if he's, the targets have to turn into production at that price. He's not a bargain anymore. So a little nervous about that playing against this defense. On the Texans side, what don't you like? I mean, Woody Marks is going to get a ton of work with Nick Chubb being questionable, perhaps doubtful. Have we gotten an update on that this morning?
Yeah,
I haven't really heard if Chubb's going to play or not.
I think he's going to be out. So it'll be the Woody Marks show.
It's the way it's leaning. Yeah. So is this the week we get? We're probably all going to play Woody Marks and get a bunch of Dare Ogunbowale or something like that. But
man, Woody Marks is. If you watch Woody Marks perform,
he's bad. He's not good.
No, I mean he's like one of these guys that will attempt it 30 times and get 30 yards. I mean, no disrespect to the guy, but he's just not.
If you block him 3 yards, he's going to get 3 yards, no more, no less. So that's the kind of guy he is. So he's going to be very popular. Probably a guy I'm not super afraid to fade. I just don't see a bunch of ceiling in this offense. I do like the receiving game in the side. I like Nico. I like Jaden Higgins. If Jaden Higgins goes under-owned, I think I'm going to want to play a lot of him.
Yep.
Because I think this could be, if the Cardinals are just going to focus on stopping on Nico Collins, I feel like this could be a nice game for Jaden Higgins at a nice price. So, and he's getting a bunch of targets. So, yeah, I'm kind of very into Jaden Higgins as my kind of pay down receiver this week.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because I think that's the way I kind of want to go with this as well. So, I know a lot of people want to play CJ Stroud. Jaden Higgins is still, he's not getting like the full-time work on the field, but it seems like it's been slowly creeping up, and they finally get a good matchup. Like Texans have not had easy matchups, so it seems like over the last month. So it kind of sets up there. I do want to bring up Texans defense because Arizona, they are down a couple more offensive linemen. So, I mean, 3,600 on DraftKings and then on FanDuel. They're probably going to be, 4,400 on FanDuel. Probably be one of the best defensive options this week. And I think it's worth paying up for him just because you get Jacoby Brissett, who's going to sling it 400 times and just gives opportunity for them to pick it off and have turnovers and that stuff. So no Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, I'm not excited to play. I'm sure there's people that are going to play the Jacoby double stack just because it's gotten there every single week so far, but just not the way I want to go about it. So I think that is it. I don't think there's much else on this game. You're not playing Jalen Noel or any of those guys, are you?
No.
I figured. So, and then Cardinals running backs, I can't figure them out, and you don't need them anyways. They don't run the ball, so it don't really matter.
Especially against Houston. Yeah, no chance.
No. So, next game here, we got the LA Chargers on the road to Kansas City. Kansas City down, I believe, 4 offensive linemen. Yeah, is getting very dire, but we got the Chargers at the Chiefs. Chargers, Justin Herbert's got a broken hand. He seemed like he was okay last week, but just seems like they want to run the ball. So, I don't know. We'll see how this one goes.
Is it just me, or does this game feel like it's like a Sunday night? Like nobody's talking about this game. It's probably for DFS. Nobody's talking about this game. It feels like, is this a Sunday night game? Is this a Monday night game? It's like, is this game even on the slate? But it is. Chargers 6-point road dogs here. 41.5 is the total. Does that seem like a crazy high line?
Yes.
Kansas City's not beating anyone, and they're not blowing anybody out. So 6 feels like a high line. That's kind of absurd to me, but we'll see how it plays. 17 3/4 implied for the Chargers. 23 3/4 implied for the Kansas City Chiefs. When's the last time the Chiefs hit 24 points?
It's been a while.
I don't remember.
Reagan administration, maybe?
Yeah. I guess the reason nobody's talking about this game is there's nothing really super exciting. I just don't see ceiling for anybody in this game. It feels like Hampton's going to take over the job for the Chargers, but a very good Chiefs run defense. And the Chiefs just aren't getting anybody open in the passing game. Like, I'm not certain Kareem Hunt or anything like that, or anything in the running game, because now Pacheco's back, and it seems like Hunt is just a goal line back. So, yeah, it's I don't love this game. I see why everybody's kind of fading this game.
I wanted to really like Rashee Rice this week, and then when you see that the Chiefs are going to be down 4 offensive linemen, it just makes it really hard to get there. That was like the one thing I was like, man, I think he can go under-owned. He's coming off a bad game. Had some drops and stuff. And like I kind of wanted to lean into the Patrick Mahomes stuff. They need a win. But they just, like, you watch them, they still want to grind Kareem Hunt. Like, I don't understand. I don't know if Andy Reid's kind of lost his fastball, but it just
feels like a Matt Nagy problem. But again,
Yeah.
if Reid's not going to replace him and start calling plays, then it's an Andy Reid problem. So
right. And then Chargers side, like Justin Herbert, they're not going to throw the ball anymore. He's got a broken hand. They have bad offensive line going up against the Chiefs defensive line and Spags that can still get there. Herbert's 6,300. Mahomes is 6,500. I just, like you said, this is a game that I just don't really love.
I mean, Herbert just did not look right on Monday. Was it Sunday night? Monday? Whenever they Monday night, yeah. He didn't look right. It looked like that hand was affecting him. So yeah, I just don't. Cash games, I guess you could play some of these guys, but in tournaments, I just don't see any ceiling for anybody in this game.
No, it's like Ladd. I wanted to be excited to play him, but it just seems like this game, they're going to run the ball, they're going to play good defense, and kind of squeak one out. And
this just feels like a 20-17 game.
Yeah, but if one of these offensive lines was bad and the other one was decent, I'd be more into this, but both of them are down like their entire offensive line. So maybe if you want to play defense, but I don't even want to do that. Like Chiefs and Chargers, Chargers defense is 2,500. That's a punt defense. That's okay, I guess, but I just don't feel like I'm right there with you. There's not a whole lot, and it seems very stupid. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, like, hey, we don't want to play any of this, but kind of right there with you. So I think that's about it on this game.
I mean, if you look back at the beginning of the season and said, okay, week 15, first week of the best ball playoffs, first week of the fantasy playoffs, Chiefs Chargers, that feels like a smash game. It's not.
No.
Both these offenses. A lot of that is injury related, but yeah, neither of these offenses feel super explosive right now.
No. So it feels weird going just past that game, but I'm kind of right there with you. So that's what we'll do. Jets at the Jaguars. Jaguars a big home favorite. The Jets don't have Justin Fields. They don't have Tyrod Taylor. They have Brady Cook. You ever heard of a Brady Cook before last week?
I'm glad you brought his name up because I was like gapping on his first name. I was like, that Cook guy is going to play quarterbacks. I appreciate that. The New York Jets are, as you mentioned, 14-point road dogs here. This is the biggest line of the week. 40.5 is the total, so 13.25 implied for the Jets. Brady Cook has a higher implied total than Kenny Pickett. That should tell you everything you need to know about Kenny Pickett. Jacksonville's implied total is 27.25. I'll say I love Travis Etienne. I love the Jacksonville defense in this game. I'm just so afraid that this gets completely, because I don't see the Jets doing anything. Breece Hall is questionable. I don't think we've heard if he's going to play or not. I assume he is, but didn't do anything last week. This game feels like it could be over by halftime, and then it turns into the LeQuint Allen, Bashal Tutin game in the second half. So I'm going to play ETN. I'm going to play a lot of ETN because I want to play a lot of Jags defense. They are one of my two defenses that I'm very into this week. But man, I'm nervous about I'm on paper, this is a great matchup for BTJ and Jacoby Myers and Trevor Lawrence. It just feels like they may be calling off the dogs by the time we get to 2:30 Eastern.
Right. I like ETN a lot, especially after last week, because it seemed like Tutin had two fumbles.
Yep.
And then they escorted him off the property. And that was the problem with him coming out. Like, he was very explosive. He's sexy and all that stuff. He just turns the ball over. And it's exactly what he did. So I like ETN. I hate giving Trevor Lawrence props, but he has looked pretty good the last 2 games.
Yep.
I do unfortunately have to report that news to the world. He's 7,200 on FanDuel. He's going to be mid-tier. I think I'd rather play him than CJ Stroud, as stupid as that sounds. But I mean, I just seems like he's got a little more ceiling than Stroud has, it seems, but maybe I'm wrong there. 19-20, I mean, he's going to get you 20 points. I'd play Jacoby Myers. I know that Brian Thomas Jr. had a bigger week last week. And then Brenton Strange is going to be one of these tight ends that I like as well. The problem is I don't know if Brady Cook's going to push him, like you said, and if the game's over, you get a lot of ETN, you get a little bit of Tootin at the end if they bring him back. And then there's obviously nothing on the Jets side. I'm not playing A.D. Mitchell. I'm not playing John Mechie, any of those guys.
I'm not touching anything on the Jets side.
Yeah,
Jets might get shut out.
Yeah, so it just I like ETN. He's probably one of my favorite plays of the week, but I don't think his ownership's going to get out of whack, but at the same time, I don't know. I can't figure out if he's being overlooked or if people just would rather play different stuff this week.
Honestly, I think it's the game script. I think it's a lot of people I think a lot of people are like us and that they really like ETN in this spot, but it's, how long are they going to keep him in the game? Right? If this game does get out of hand, if the Jets can't score at all, do they pull him by the beginning of the third quarter? Right. Remember, we loved Von Achen last week. He was on pace for about a 50-point game, and then cracked a rib or whatever, and just financially
ruined everybody's life.
Exactly.
And then
see how this plays out.
And then we talked about Jaguars defense. They've been able to get sacks and turnovers, so this is probably the defense that could break the slate here. So
they are definitely on, but they're one of the 2 on my list.
Yep. So next game here, I think this is probably the most underrated game of the day, as bad as that sounds. We get the Washington Commanders. No Jaden Daniels. He's out because Dan Quinn doesn't know how to operate football operations and just keeps bringing them in and out. And we get the Giants, small favorite at home. It's I think this game's kind of sneaky. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it kind of go under the radar.
I kind of agree with you, although the only thing I don't think this is under the radar. I think a lot of the sharps are on this game. I am too. Early on, this is a game I'm very into. So Washington 2.5-point road dogs here, 46.5 is the total. So 22 implied for the Commanders, 24.5 implied for the Giants. If you're going to fade Detroit and the Rams and Baltimore Cincy, this is probably the game you want to go to.
Yep.
I love both the quarterbacks in this game. I love the receivers in this game. Love Theo Johnson in this game. I'm not getting there with the Commanders running game just because it's like nobody's taking the opportunity share and run with it. But yeah, I love Dart quite a bit. I'm going to have a lot of Dart Theo Johnson this week. Like the Commanders receivers. Again, I don't love the running games in this game, but I do like the passing games quite a bit.
Yeah, I really like Wandale this week. He just ends up. I say that this is probably the first and last time I will ever come on a show and say I love Wandale Robinson. But I'm tired of getting buried by him, and it's a good matchup, so I'm going to set that up there. Darius Slayton will be a guy who I think will end up getting kind of overlooked on this 5,600. He's going to be one of these cheap wide receivers that you can fit in, kind of build the rest of your team around. 4,400 on DraftKings. Dart's got a really good ceiling. I don't know if I want to play much of the Commander side. If it was, I'd probably play McLaurin because I don't think anybody ever wants to play Scary Terry here. 5,400.
I think a lot of people are because he's so cheap this week and he's getting a ton of. Now, I can make a case for Devo getting some of that volume with Zach Ertz out.
Right.
But yeah, McLaurin at 5,400 is that's a really good price.
Yeah. FanDuel, he's 7,100. He's probably going to be more of a DraftKings play than FanDuel.
Yeah, for sure.
And then do you have a side on the Washington tight end debacle between John Bates and Ben Sinnott?
Pass.
Okay.
Ben Sinnott is an H-back. He's not a tight end. Stop. You're going to play a fullback in DFS? Stop.
No.
Come on.
I thought I'd ask. So
no, I get it. Like people are just stop with this Stop with this Benson. Stop trying to make Benson into a thing. It's never going to happen. He's an H-back. It's all he's ever been. He doesn't have a position in the NFL.
No. So Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary. I think Tracy's going to play, is what I saw.
Sounds like it, yeah.
5,800 on FanDuel, 5,500 on DraftKings, and then Singletary's going to be in the same boat. He's 5K on DraftKings, FanDuel. He's going to be 5,600. I wish one of them was out because I'd play the hell out of the other one.
Exactly.
I kind of want to lean Singletary, just kind of get a little bit different there. But other than that,
he's the goal line back. So if they get a couple pass interference in the end zone or something like that, I could definitely see him falling across the line for a couple touchdowns. But I'm with you 100%. I wish, I don't want anyone to be hurt, but I wish we had some clarity on.
Right.
I wish we had one of these guys getting a bell cow roll because this would be a smash spot for it.
Right. So I don't think there is much else on this game. Let me pull up Debo's salary real quick. He is 6,800 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he ends up being 5,300. So I think he's fine.
I think he's going to be very contrarian because I think everybody's going to want to be on McLaurin in this game. And yeah, like with Ertz being out, I think he can get a ton of targets.
Yep. So, like I said, I like this game. I think that it ends up setting up nicely. If you want to get a piece of it, I think my favorite way to play is through Wandale. I know that's not the most secretive thing in the world. It'll be the first and last time I'm excited to play Wandale Robinson, but it don't get any better than this, does it? So
I'm playing through, like, you know me. I love playing tight ends against the Commanders, and Bobby Wagner's probably going to be out this week, so now it's even worse for them. So I love Theo Johnson this week. Like, they gave up 3. Dude, I was on Hutchison last week, and Josh Oliver scored 2 touchdowns. Come on.
That's terrible, isn't it?
3 tight end touchdowns for Minnesota last week, and Hutchison only got 1. That's my season right there. That's my season right there, bro. That's directionally accurate, and that's it.
So, and I'm assuming since we like the offense, we are not going to like the defense on this.
No, I don't want to touch either of these defenses.
No. So, speaking of defense, we got Myles Garrett and the Browns going on the road to Chicago. I think it's supposed to be very cold and nasty here, which it is December in Chicago. I don't know what else you expect, but we get the Browns at the Bears. We had Shador time last week. Looked like he was okay, but he's got down like 400 offensive linemen. So
yeah,
not that the Bears are any good on defense, but I kind of worry about the Browns' offensive production. But get the Browns at the Bears here.
Yeah, we got Cleveland 7.5-point road dogs here, so 38.5 is the total. 15.5 implied for the Cleveland Browns. Chicago has a 23-point implied total. We know there's no David Njoku this week, so this is a smash spot for Harold Fannin, I think. Wish we knew. Have we gotten early word on Roma Dunze?
I think he's in.
Okay. Seemed like he was trending to where he was going to play, so that's interesting. I don't know. It just feels like I'm in an unguy game. It just feels like they're going to try and run the ball. Again, like you said, it's going to be super cold. Maybe they try to get their passing game going because Caleb Williams has not been super great. But yeah, I like Quinshon probably is going to get a lot of volume, but like you said, they're missing 4 offensive linemen, so I don't feel like that's a great spot for him. I just don't see any ceiling for him. Again, unless he falls in the end zone twice, but like Devin Singletary can do that at a much cheaper price. I think this is a Monangai game, a Harold Fannin game, and maybe it's Swift. That's the problem with the Bears. It's like, which one do they want to use? It probably feels like a cold against a very good run defense. It feels like they just want to kind of push Monangai through. Doesn't feel like a DeAndre Swift kind of game, but pick your Chicago running back, and then definitely interested in Fannin with Njoku out, but other than that, I don't really like anything in this game.
Yeah. Fannin's been kind of going wild ever since Shador time arrived. So he's 5,700 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 4K. He's probably it's not like it's pretty obvious that he's getting a lot of work, and I don't think he's going to be underowned by any stretch of the imagination. He's probably my favorite punt tight end on the day. He's just had some big games lately, especially last week. So 28 points, 12 points. The target share's there. I kind of want to lean into Swift. I just think that'll get a little bit more of the passing work, and that's, you get Myles Garrett and maybe Caleb Williams will dump it off a little bit. But DeAndre Swift's 5,700 on DraftKings, 59 on FanDuel. It seems very cheap for a guy who's probably going to get a decent amount of work, and it's going to be the same for Monungai as well. So, 6K for Monungai on FanDuel, 5,200 on DraftKings. I don't really want to play Caleb Williams, like you said. Roma Dunze's been pretty bad. DJ Moore looks like he's retired. Looks like he wants no part of the Bears anymore. Colston Loveland, I do want to bring up just because he's still got like the Cole Kmet syndrome, but he has had some decent games, but he's pretty cheap. 3,600 on DraftKings. FanDuel is 5,200. I like Swift. You like Monungai. We both like Harold Fannin. And then both defenses. I do like Bears defense today. If I could find them real quick. There we go. 4,600. You're going to pay up for them. You can pair them with one of the running backs. DraftKings, they end up being 3,500. So, any interest in Browns defense today with Myles Garrett chasing the sack record?
Browns have been so bad on the road. And the Bears offensive line is really good. So yeah, I don't love the Browns this week. Better options, I think.
I know Caleb Williams has been Houdini so far, but going up against Myles Garrett just seems like a recipe.
Man.
It just kind of seems like a recipe for disaster. So, but next game here and the last one of the early slate, excuse me. Buffalo on the road to New England. Pretty big implications for Buffalo. Still trying. They're in the playoffs. Just kind of hold the fort there with the Patriots leading the AFC East. So we got the Bills at the Patriots. Seems like one of the bigger games on the slate here.
Yeah, most definitely. Bills morning line has them at 2-point favorites. Have kicked up a little bit. 49 is the total, so 25.5 implied for Buffalo. 23.5 implied for New England coming off the bye. We got the Josh Allen going to be a Papa announcement this week.
Yes.
From his what's Haley Steinfeld. I don't even know what she does. Is she an actress? Is she a singer? I don't know. But
don't ask me. I'm so out of the weeds on that stuff that
exactly.
I have no idea.
It's how you know you're old when these when you don't know what these people are famous for. Just I know we got a Josh Allen Nuke game last week. This just feels like another one's coming. Like I said, this is last chance saloon for the Bills to get back into the division race. A little bit of a tough schedule for New England. They got Baltimore next week, and I think they got Jacksonville or something like that. So it's not an easy schedule for New England on the way out. So yeah, this is a kind of a must-win game if Buffalo wants to win the division. I don't think they have a realistic chance at home field, but it's not impossible. So yeah, this is a huge game for Buffalo. I'm going to like to play Josh Allen this week. I'm not going to want to be fading him entirely. There's a lot of good quarterbacks I like, but every time you take a quarterback who's not Josh Allen, you're just intentionally fading the Josh Allen Nuke game because it just feels like he could put up 40 points on any given weekend, and then he just end up being the guy you have to have. So I'm gonna have a definitely Josh Allen stand this week, and then again, I'm fine playing him naked. I don't care. You want to bring Dalton Kincaid, you want to bring Khalil Shakir with you, that's fine. I just don't see any ceiling for those guys. It's like, yeah, they can get a touchdown, but I don't see any smash games for them. It just feels like it's all Allen and Cook. I don't mind playing Allen with Cook. I think that's fine. And then on the other side, I wish we had clarity on it because this would be a great game for Travion Henderson. He's the exact kind of back that the Bills struggle with. But coming off the bye, I don't trust Vrabel to not want to get Ramondre Stevenson involved. So, I don't. Sounds like Benford's going to play, Christian Benford for the Bills. Yeah. I know he was questionable earlier. If he doesn't play, then I'm kind of more interested in something like Stephon Diggs or Kayshon Boutte. But again, I think on the other side, if I'm going to play Drake May, I'd rather just play him naked.
It just seems like a quarterback slate where you don't want to get buried to where you don't want to pay down. And then we just got too many of the heavy hitters to where like if one goes for 40 and you're just so behind,
you're dead.
Right. Josh Allen, he's expensive, but it's just weird that he doesn't bring anybody along ever for the ride. Ever. And then Drake May's been like the best quarterback in fantasy football, and he's probably going to be under-owned on this slate compared to what his ceiling has been. So 8,100 for Drake May on FanDuel, FanDuel, and then DraftKings. He's going to be kind of in the same boat, 6,700. I want to play Drake May today. I think that they're coming off the bye week. I like Travion a lot. I think Travion's probably my favorite play in this game just because I think he's going to go a little bit under-owned. We've seen the ceiling on him. I know that Ramondre's been getting a lot of the run, but Travion it's been more exciting. He's had more explosive games too, so he's a mid-tier running back. And then Bills pass catchers, I'd say Kincaid would be my favorite. They all went off against the Bengals last week. Khalil Shakir just doesn't have a ceiling. We talked about that.
Nope.
Patriots stuff. Any interest in Stephon Diggs or any of those guys?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't love it. I just don't see.
He's still a part-time player. That's the problem.
Yeah, there's no concentration in this offense at all. So again, if you're a cash game, he's fine. But I don't see a ceiling in tournaments because he's like a 65% snap share guy. So he had a really good game against Buffalo the first time, but didn't score a touchdown and just, he wasn't really a factor. So and I don't see this game kind of getting out of hand. So I don't see like a nuke script in this one. So yeah, I think I'm really playing this game through the quarterbacks and the running backs, and that's really kind of about it.
And then last thing, Hunter Henry. We've seen him kind of have a couple of these games, and that's probably a cheap piece if you want to tag him along for the ride. I'd rather play the Drake May side than the Josh Allen side. I think it seems like you're the opposite. You'd rather play Josh Allen. He's obviously got more ceiling, but I don't know.
I'm terrified of Josh Allen nuking me this week.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's always these spots I just always want to get contrarian. It feels like that's always how I do it.
But just keep in mind, if you want to play these pay down guys, you want to play the Jackson Dart, you want to play a Mariota, you want to play Lawrence Stroud, whatever.
CJ Stroud, greatest play of all time this week.
Exactly. If you want to do that, that's fine, but you are intentionally fading a Josh Allen nuke game because if he nukes, you're dead. Yep. Doesn't matter what else you got in your lineup, you're just stone dead.
And then I don't think anybody's going to pay for James Cook just before we get off this game to the late window. James Cook's been really good, and it seems like he is the offense, even though he had like the fumble last week. Almost cost him the game. If I could pull up him on FanDuel, 8,300. He's expensive. You play him with Josh Allen, it gets very expensive very quick. So I'm a little bit worried that he kind of goes under-owned, and he's part of it too. I'd rather play this game through the ground than through the air. Both these teams are very good in the secondary, and then they kind of give it up on the ground. That's the problem with this game. So
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Bills are bad against running back. So I would love to play a lot of Trevion Henderson. I just wish I had clarity that he was going to get a full load share.
Yeah. We saw a little too much Ramondre Stevenson for my liking. So exactly. But that is it for the early window. We'll get to the late window here. If you haven't, make sure to like and subscribe. If you got any comments, leave those in there. So we will kick this off with the return of the greatest quarterback of all time, Philip Rivers. Starting 1 week practice, 5 years away from his playoff loss to the Bills, going on the road to Seattle. I believe it is going to rain. He's got no right tackle. He's got no secondary. Philip Rivers, one last hurrah going up against probably the best defense in the league. What could possibly go wrong? I'm excited. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. I know this is supposed to be the funeral for one of the all-time greats. I don't care. We're gonna go out slinging. I'm excited for it. You can let me down slowly. You could tell me the realism, and I'll give you the optimism.
I'm with you. All right. So this game has actually come down to Indianapolis being a 13.5 point dog on the road in Seattle. 41.5 is the total. So 14 implied for the Colts, 27.5 implied for Seattle. Seattle's definitely one of the defenses I am going to be in on this week. It's a quarterback who hasn't played with any of his receivers. Did he play? He probably played 1 year with Pittman, right? Pittman was 21.
He played with Pittman.
He probably played Pittman his rookie year. So all right.
I think there's
doesn't know the offense
that he played with.
Has had no preseason, no training camp, anything like that. He's just coming in off the street. So yeah, I'm gonna, dude. Everybody in the world is gonna be fading Jonathan Taylor. I don't mind playing Taylor this week. He's gonna get like 30 touches. They are gonna force feed him the ball, and he's gonna get him at like 1% ownership. I don't mind playing Jonathan Taylor this week.
He will touch the ball 30 times. That is not
At
a surprise. I do not think you could play Philip Rivers on the slate. Even though I'm I'm also a realist. God, any other team, like if they would have played Houston's defense, I'd been like a little more. Seattle. This just, yeah. I spoke last week about JSN being a flag plant. It sets up really nicely for him one more time going up against the Colts secondary. No Chardavius Ward, no Sauce Gardner. Sam Darnold could probably go nuke. You got no Elijah Arroyo, so AJ Barner would be a great stack piece. Rashid Shaheed had a punt return. He finally got some run. Cooper Kupp's kind of there too. I hope they don't bludgeon the Colts. I don't know. And I also want to say I do think that we're going to get some Tyler Warren stuff. I think they're going to do some really goofy under center. They'll probably throw out Philip Rivers as a wide receiver, and he's just going to stand there like a statue, and they'll do some just wildcat, just weird stuff, just try to throw him off.
Yep.
So 4,700 for Tyler Warren there, and then 5,900 for him on FanDuel. I think Philip Rivers will be fine. Do I think he'll be good? No. Do I think he's going to die? No. My problem here, and I'll get off this game. I saw Diane Rossini, or whatever her name is, report that Philip Rivers is not very mobile. He was not mobile 5 years ago.
He was never mobile. He's never been mobile.
Jesus Christ.
He wasn't mobile at NC State.
No. He walks like he's in the mud. This is not analysis by any stretch of the imagination. I just I hope he goes out better than John Cena did last night. We'll just put it that way. How about that? So
was it bad? I didn't even see it. So
it could have been better. That's a different rant for a different day. But I think Philip Rivers will be okay. 147 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. That's my analysis on the stat line. Jonathan Taylor 30 times, probably breaks one off for a big run, and then Seattle wins 27-9. How about that?
I like it.
So next game, Philip, I love you. I can't wait to see you. It's been so long. You make life worth living. I'll just put it that way. So next game, we got the Panthers at the Saints. Not near as exciting as Philip Rivers coming back, but we do have to talk about it. Panthers, slight road favorite. Panthers are probably going to end up being a playoff team in 2025. Jesus, this is where we're at in the world. So, how you feel about this one?
Yeah, since the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cannot defend a tight end and can't stop Kyle Pitts, this is almost, we're getting close to, I think if Carolina wins this game and beats Tampa once, they're 85% or 90% to make the playoffs. So this is a huge game for the Panthers. They win this game, they are basically the heavy favorites to make the playoffs from the NFC South, the division that no one should get to the playoffs from. Panthers are 3-point road favorites here against a resurgent Saints team. 41 is the total, so 22 implied for the Panthers, 19 implied for the Saints. This game feels sneaky. Feels like there should be some point scoring in this game. Saints are playing much better. Tyler Shuck's getting some running, some design runs, and doing well with them. Scored 2 touchdowns last week. They beat the Bucs last week. So this game, Saints are definitely alive. They're live to be spoilers in this game. Panthers coming off the bye. Dude, I want clarity on these backfields. It's I would love to play Chuba Hubbard. I'd love to play Rico Dowdle if I knew one of those guys were going to get the role. Probably playing Chuba if I'm playing anyone this week because he's so much cheaper than Dowdle, which doesn't really make sense since he looked like the lead back last week. I wish that, if they were closer in price, then it would be a decision. But at this point, I don't know how you play Dowdle when Chuba is that much cheaper.
Yeah, it seemed like you said, he went back to the lead role last week, and it's a good role to have. They just want to run the ball and try to attempt to play defense. Seems like both these quarterbacks are a little thin to play on a slate like this, like we talked about Josh Allen and those guys. But Tetairoa McMillan is a guy that we've seen some ceiling with him, and he's $6K on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel he ends up being 6,900. 2 weeks ago he kind of went off quietly, and nobody wants to play him. Devin Neal with no Alvin Kamara. I know a lot of people are wanting to play Woody Marks. I think I'd rather play Devin Neal, to be quite honest.
He's getting volume.
Yeah, 5,300 there. Chris Olave, Devon Vele, like those guys. Chris Olave has like quietly been very good this year. I know the box score doesn't really show it. Yeah, but it's just like one of those things as well. So it does seem sneaky. I don't know if you can like full on stack it, but I feel like parts and pieces of it could be really good. Do you any interest in defense on either side for this game?
I don't. Not really. Both these just kind of end up getting there. So, yeah, I don't. Saints at home are much less turnover prone. So, there's just again, I'd rather go to the Jag. I'd rather pay up for the Jags or neither one of these guys really of these defenses really excite me enough to say, okay, I'm willing to pay down for this.
Right. So, I don't know. Saints are a fine punt play if you want to get there, and then I think that's honestly about it.
If you want to play Devin Neal on Saints defense and just play that this is one of those games that Bryce Young just implodes for some reason, it wouldn't shock me. I can see that happening.
Right. So it seems like this game would be much better suited for any other slate we've talked about this year, where things have been so thin, and but now we got like 3 good games, and this game's just kind of sitting here and just like
this game just kind of falls in the middle. It's like, okay,
right. So
also, dude, why do we have 5 425 games and no 405 games? What is happening this week?
Same with the red zone commercials. We went from like 60 seconds of them to 400 of them
to 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yes. So I can't explain it. That's above my pay grade to try to figure out. So it is what it is. Next game, your beloved Packers, big win last week, go on the road to Denver. It's another sneaky game that it seems like probably a defensive showdown, but how are you feeling about your Packers on the road against the greatest of all time, Bo Nix?
Yeah, and a weekend that's going to see some pretty crappy weather around the northern part of this game is supposed to be 60 degrees in Denver. So not fading this game because of weather at all. Packers down to a 1-point road favorite. They opened as 2-point road favorites. So this has been bet down a little bit. 42.5 is the total. So 21.75 implied for Green Bay, 20.75 implied for Denver. I'll just say on the Denver side, they offensively, they do not present anything that the Packers I don't think they can exploit what the Packers are bad at, or the things the Packers they're not bad. They're a very good defense. They can't exploit the things the Packers struggle with, and that's between the tackles running, or elite wide receivers in a quick passing game. RJ Harvey is he's a side to side. He's a kind of zone scheme running back. He's not going to beat you in between the tackles. If this is J.K. Dobbins was still there, I'd be much more concerned about the running game of the Broncos. Cortland Sutton's just glorified Romeo Doubs. He's basically a sacrificial X. He's better than Romeo Doubs. Don't get me wrong. There's no question about that. But he's not the kind of guy. Bo Nix is not going to kind of surgically dissect you like a Dak Prescott can, or a Jamar Chase led offense can do. So I just don't see this Denver offense kind of really threatening the Packers defense. Packers are very good at kind of spying. They got Edgerrin Cooper, who's outstanding, he's really fast and very good at spying quarterbacks. So I don't think Bo Nix is going to be an issue with them. So I don't other than the special, I could see that Broncos special teams are really good. Packers are not great. So I could see them busting a punt return or something like that. But otherwise, I don't see Denver really threatening the Packers defense. Other side, Jordan Love is really good against the blitz. I think that Broncos blitz at the 4th highest rate. They play a ton of man coverage. I think they lead the league in man coverage. Feels like another good setup spot for Christian Watson, Jaden Reed. Hate Luke Musgrave. This could be a game where the one place the Broncos defense is kind of vulnerable is against tight ends. They're just kind of mid against tight ends. So again, Musgrave is much better against man coverage than he is against zone. So if you're going to play the Packers side, and I think that's viable, it's through the man coverage beaters, and that's Watson, that's Reed, Wicks, Musgrave. Sounds like Josh Jacobs is going to play. Didn't practice all week. There's nothing structurally wrong with his knee. It's the same knee he banged on the turf at in the Meadowlands, whatever, against the Giants in that horrible field. It just starts swelling up on him during the game. So sounds like he's Emmanuel Wilson popped up in the injury report yesterday for some reason as well. So I don't love playing this game through the Packers running game. I'd much rather play it. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to play it through. I think this is a sneaky spot to play Love and Watson.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too because Jordan Love's been on fire. But my problem is we've had these Packers games. Like, I know they've looked pretty good the last couple of weeks, but they've had some real big letdown spots too. And it just seems like this game will not get out of hand to where like it won't get into a shootout range. And that's like kind of you get like 24-20, maybe if that.
This feels like a 23-19 game.
Yeah, and just where like Jordan Love can be good, he can throw for 300 and have 3 touchdowns, but at the same time, it just doesn't. I don't know. I was really curious about playing Jordan Love this week because think it'd be super contrarian, especially in like large field stuff. But Broncos defense is really good. I don't think they really have a good punch outside of RJ Harvey. I don't see Bo Nix like nuking the Packers defense, but I think I'd probably just want to play a piece of it, and then I'd probably play it through Watson, who somehow went from an afterthought after he tore his ACL to the greatest wide receiver in Packers history, which is kind of wild because remember he had the hamstring issues that everybody seemed to forget about. It was like every other week his left and right hamstring would just tear off the bone, and he was going to go see specialist, and he gave that to Marshawn Lloyd, unfortunately, but that's just kind of how it's turned out. So I do like the Jordan Love call. Broncos stuff, I think Harvey's fine. I don't want to play any of these running backs. Josh Jacobs for fantasy has not been good. Harvey's not in a good matchup. I just I like Watson this week. I like Dobbs a lot, honestly. So if you want to pair like one of those guys with or just pair him with Love and just kind of get contrarian there, I think that's fine. Not playing Musgrave. Don't want to play Evan Ingram. Any love for any of these defenses? Packers against Bo Nix?
Yeah. Interested because Micah Parsons is getting it. Like if they decide to start calling holding calls against him, like Jesus, frustrating as a Packers. Like watching him just get choked, like literally choked and not have it called. That is very, very frustrating. I'm sure the Packers had a call with the league this week. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate either of these teams. Like Denver can get there, they can get sacks, they can get turnovers. So Packers again, the least turnovers in the league this year. So that's what kind of fewest turnovers. I'm kind of hesitant to play the Broncos defense because again, this team takes care of the ball very well. Knock on wood, but Packers defense maybe, but yeah, not super interested in the Broncos defense.
Yeah. So before we get to the next game, Duke got a question here. Sean, appreciate you tuning in. On FanDuel, I'm debating about playing the running backs that have no competition for touches. Marks, Judkins, maybe a giant stack. What are your thoughts? I think Marks is fine. I don't know if I want to play Quinshon Judkins this week. And then I definitely want to play the giant stuff with Dart. I think Slayton's fine. I know you like Theo Johnson a lot, and I like Wandale too. So, Joel, what do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I think Marks is a nice option on FanDuel's half PPR, so you care about touchdowns more than anything. So I think Marks is a good option there because he, like I said, he's not. I don't think he's going to have competition this week for the touches. And then Judkins won't have competition, but it's just such a bad spot with his entire offensive line out. Could I see Marks getting 2 touchdowns? Yeah, pretty easily, honestly. Could I see Judkins getting 2 touchdowns? The Browns going to score more than 1 touchdown in that weather with a bad offensive line, with a rookie quarterback against not a great defense, but a defense that takes the ball away a lot. Like they lead the league in turnovers. It's like, how many touchdowns are the Browns going to get? So I do like Marks on FanDuel. And I like, if you want a cheap stack, I love the Giants. And like, if you want to go cheap at running back, I think I'd probably rather play Singletary and just assume that, Tracy is kind of limited and just like Singletary dominates touches. I don't mind that on FanDuel at all. Because like we said before, I could see Singletary getting a couple, you get a couple of pass interferences in the end zone, a couple 2-yard or 1-yard touchdown plunges. I'm all about that at a cheap price.
Yeah. Some other guys, no competition. Devin Neal, with no Kamara, I think is pretty interesting
Yep.
there. And then if you want to pay up a little bit, Travis Etienne, I don't think Tootin, after his 2 fumbles last week going up against there, you got to pay a little bit more, but I think he ends up being fine too. So,
And then you get to
you.
pair him with the Jags defense against Brady Cook, who you fortunately informed me.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you where he went to college. Couldn't tell you,
Missouri.
where he grew up.
That I knew. I know he went to Missouri. He was Luther Burden's quarterback.
I
he was the guy who couldn't get the ball to Luther Burden.
Well, that explains everything then. So
exactly.
We got 2 more games left. Got the Tennessee Titans on the road. Big Cock Brock Purdy at home against playing the 49ers. Big home favorites. CMC seems like he's going to be fine. He showed up on the injury report. A little bit of back injury from carrying the team, but he is fine. It seems pretty simple to me. Light up all the 49ers and any Titans for you?
No. Yeah, I've seen a lot of FUD about McCaffrey, like, oh, they're going to pull him early if he's hurt, and this game's. I don't know. I'm not fading McCaffrey whatsoever this week. He's still my number 1 player on the board. I am happy to pay for him this week. He's got 85 receptions, dude. That's incredible for a running back. Yeah, he's been crazy inefficient on the ground, but he's just making it happen through the air. So, love McCaffrey this week. Yeah, I like Purdy. I like the entire 49ers passing game. Like Tennessee has become a very sneaky pass funnel. Like they stop the run, but you can exploit them through the secondary. So, yeah, I like Purdy. I like Jennings. If you want to get a little fancy, maybe try Pearsall. But Kittle's a nice option as well. So, yeah, I like 49ers passing game quite a bit in this game. The 49ers side, or not, I'm sorry, the Titans side, it's like, sure, there's guys who could get there, but which you play DK, you're going to play Iomatter, you're going to play Pollard, you're going to play Spears. You're certainly not playing Cam Ward. So which guy do you think is going to give you a ceiling?
What about your guy Gunnar Helm? What about your dog?
If you want to pay way down, it's so hard because there's other, like, I like Likely this week. I like Theo Johnson this week. I don't feel like I need to pay way down. I don't feel like I need to go all the way down to Gunnar Helm this week.
Yeah. I will say this on FanDuel. I think it's a little discriminatory that Jonathan Taylor is more than Christian McCaffrey.
That's insane.
I think $9K, even though it's very expensive, I think it's very doable for Christian McCaffrey. And if you watch any of the 49ers games, Kyle Shanahan has no care for CMC's life. They could be up 40-0 and they will still run CMC. So if you are worried about that, you need to be better. You just need to play him. I really like Jawan Jennings this week. I like Kittle. I think Kittle's fun. I really wish that the Bengals weren't on this slate because Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely going up against the Bengals. I'm pretty worried that blows out the rest of the tight ends just because we saw what happened last week with the Bills. But George Kittle ends up being very fun, especially with Trey McBride in the worst matchup of the year, and then Brock Bowers, who's got Kenny Pickett. Like, George Kittle really sticks out like a sore thumb.
Kittle's the only high-priced guy I'm comfortable paying up for this week.
Yeah. So, I like Brock Purdy too. It just, if he's not getting pushed, you're hoping that he throws for 3 touchdowns before halftime. That's kind of the big thing there. So, 49ers defense is a little too expensive for how banged up it is. And then I don't for a little bit. We saw them last week going up against the Browns. Like, they kind of went back and forth. So I just don't want to play any Titan stuff. That's the one problem with San Francisco. I just worried that they don't get pushed, kind of like the Seahawks, to where the guys kind of get there, but just not get there enough. So anything else on this game before we get to the last one?
No, other than, like, did we even give the numbers on this one? Probably don't need to because it's such a wacky line.
You can give them off real quick, but
yeah. So this has actually gone down to 12. Niners by 12 at home, 44.5. Pretty good total for a Tennessee Titans game. 16.25 implied for the Titans, 28.25 implied for the Niners. So yeah, don't be afraid to start your Niners this week.
Right. So, Sean, appreciate you tuning in. Like I said earlier, going with Dart, Robinson, Theo, ETN, Jags, CMC, and middle prices, JMO and Wilson. So I like it.
I like that lineup.
Yeah, looks very good.
Looks good.
So make sure if you got any other questions, make sure to drop them in. Last game of the week, we got the Detroit Lions fighting for their lives going up against the Rams at home. 6 points seems like a lot, but that's just me personally. I know the Lions have been a little bit banged up, but 6 points does seem like a lot here. But this is one of the 3 games that just kind of seems like can nuke the entire slate here.
Yeah, highest total of it's open at the highest total in the league this year. It's since gone down to 54.5. So the Sharps got a little bit shy on the 55.5 opening line on this one. Detroit is a 5.5 point road underdog in LA. The team with no home field advantage. So 24.5 implied for the Lions and 30 implied for the Rams. Detroit is going to be playing without Brian Branch, torn Achilles, out for the year. Their entire secondary is decimated. Man, there's so many options in this game, but like we mentioned earlier, it's just super hard to stack this game with more than like a couple players because they're all so expensive. I will say the way I kind of want to attack this game is through Amon-Ra because I think he's going to be very contrarian. I don't think anybody would want to go to him especially coming off the ankle injury a couple weeks ago. But when Detroit is trailing, when they're chasing points, those are Amon-Ra games. So I definitely, if I'm going to play Detroit side, I want to start it with Amon-Ra. Like I like JMO. Obviously, I like the pass. I'm not worried about Devontae not practicing this week. Zero concern there. If I have to play anyone in the Rams passing game, I'd probably rather do Devontae just because he's so much cheaper than Puka. And he's the end zone guy. He's going to set the record for end zone targets. So that's the way I'd kind of want to go. But yeah, just maybe Kyren. Kyron's going to be contrarian. I don't think anyone's going to want to play him with as much run as Corum has been getting, and because Detroit is a much better run defense than Pat against the pass. So Kyren could be super contrarian. And again, I could see him scoring a couple touchdowns in this game. So not a bad option there either.
Yeah. I always worry about the offensive line going up against this Rams defensive line, but Jared Goff, I'm glad you brought up Amon-Ra because that's who I was going to bring up, the guy who I think kind of gets lost in the shuffle here, especially if they're trailing and trying to like fight back. Like that's the way to go through it. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs, if you want to pair him with in that stack too, it just gets really expensive. It seems like you're going to piece this game instead of like full on stack it. I think Blake Corum's really fun if you want to get a cheap piece because that's about outside of Colby Parkinson at tight end. That's like probably about as cheap as it's going to get as a viable piece and hope that he gets in the box twice. So Jameson Williams ends up being a mid-tier guy. Sets up nice. Like the Rams have some like pieces hurt in the secondary. So if Jared Goff can hold on for dear life and just like get the ball out, I think it sets up really nice. I'd rather play it through the Lions side than the Rams side, but you get the revenge game narrative, I guess technically for both teams, big trade between so true. Whichever way you want to lean into that. And then
doesn't feel very revengey for Stafford when he won a Super Bowl at the Rams.
No. So, but we get Kyren. He's 6,800. Corum's going to be cheaper, but Corum's been 4,800 on DraftKings, FanDuel. He ends up being 6K. I think I'd probably rather play Corum. I mean, Kyron's still the 1A. I mean, I'm not trying to sneak this. It's just trying to get a cheap piece. Hopefully he gets a touchdown. You cannot stack this game. There's no possible way to
more than a couple. You really, if you want to stack more than a couple players in this game, you're going down to Corum. You're going down to, the tight ends. The stacking the receivers is basically just impossible. More than a couple of them.
Yeah. And I mean, if you play Gibbs, you're just not going to do it unless you're full punt. I don't even think you could fit it in that way. So, sounds like Amon-Ra is probably your favorite way to play it. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to show up to say. So, I think we're both in on that. Puka's been really good. Devontae's scoring 2 touchdowns a game at this rate. He gets targeted 469 times in the end zone. It's just been kind of a wild ride. And then Colby Parkinson is one guy I do want to bring up at tight end. He's gotten some run too. So 3,200 on DraftKings. And then
I've been playing a lot of Colby Parkinson. My concern is like in the games where the Rams are chasing points, and like again, you go back to the Carolina game a couple of weeks ago where that game kind of got out of hand. Carolina got a defensive score, and those are the games that they kind of pull. They don't go to those 3 tight end sets at the goal line, and And that's, like they did last week when we get, a couple quorum touchdowns and Parkinson got there. Parkinson's a better play in games where they're heavy favorites rather than games where, these high total games where they're going to be chasing points.
Right. So I think that's about it. I know we just touched Stafford's. He's lighting it up, but man, he's expensive. And if you're going to play Stafford, you got to play both of them. You can't. I don't think you can play one. I think you got to play both of them.
Yeah, if you're going to pay for Stafford, maybe I'm wrong. If I'm going to pay for Stafford, I'd rather pay for Josh Allen and just go I'd rather play. I don't want to show up with Stafford and Josh Allen nukes, and I'm like, okay, I could have paid $1,000 extra and gotten to Josh Allen.
Right. I still in that mindset where Matthew Stafford doesn't run, and I feel like he doesn't have the ceiling, even though he's top 5 quarterback in fantasy this year. And I mean, 23, 22, 26, which those are good games. Like you want those.
Those are great, but you're never getting a 30 or a 40.
Josh Allen could go 40. I mean, Drake May can go 40. Lamar can go for 40. So it just, it just gets tough there. We talked all about the offense. I'm assuming you want no defensive part of this.
No,
I'm assuming. So
Detroit's defense is just decimated by injuries. So you can't start them. And then Rams, they're at home. I could maybe this game gets out of hand and Detroit's like, throwing prayers up and you get a defensive score or something like that. But again, there's so many other defensive options. There's some bad weather games where I'd rather go to defenses. There's some, rookie or first time starting quarterbacks I'd rather go to with the defense. You're going to be contrarian if you're starting defense in this game.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So that'll be the end of it. Before we get out of here, we'll do flag plants. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any more questions real quick, you can drop those in. And then before we go, I apologize. I've been under the weather. So if I sound like I said earlier, if I sound like I've been under the bus, it's because I have been hit by a freight train. So get the flag plants for week 15 is a big slate. It feels like a lot can go wrong. And I don't know. Feels pretty wild. So I'm excited to hear your first flag plant for week 15.
I'm going with Josh Allen. I'm afraid of getting nuked by him. So I'm going to go flag plant number 1 is just going to be Josh Allen in a huge game. Got the big personal news this week. I know he nuked last week. It just feels like another nuke game is coming this week, and I'm terrified to fade it.
Yeah, I don't blame you, and they need it too. So I don't think seems like they're pretty set in the playoffs. But I mean, if goofy stuff can happen, I mean, the Bills haven't looked like the Bills of old. So I don't think.
And you're Buffalo. You'd much rather get a home game. You'd much rather win the division, get a home game. So that's a huge advantage for them.
Yep. So my first flag plant here will be Mark Andrews. Just going up against this Bengals defense. After seeing them give it up to 3 tight ends for the Bills, I just, even no matter how bad the Ravens have been on offense, it just seems like everybody's get right spot. I just want a piece of that. So I'll go Mark Andrews for my first flag plant. And then your last flag plant for week 15.
Yeah, following there's a lot of cheap tight ends I like this week. I'm going with Theo Johnson against the Commanders. All season long, if you've been watching the show, I love targeting tight ends against the Commanders. They gave up 3 touchdowns to Minnesota tight ends last week. So, love Theo. I like Jackson Dart, but like I said, I'm terrified of fading Josh Allen. But if I want to get some action in that game, I'm going to be getting a lot of Theo Johnson. My last one of the day, you go Theo Johnson. I'm going to give the honorable mention to Wandale. He's not going to be my official flag plant, but I like him too. My official flag plant for week 15, number 2, will be Travis Etienne. Just think it sets up nice, especially after Tootin fumbling his way. I just think that they kind of game can get out of hand, and then he goes for 2 touchdowns. So that is it for week 15. If your first week of the playoffs, if you did not get a bye, good luck this week. We'll be praying for you. And Joel, before we go, let us know where everybody can find you. Yeah, right here every Sunday talking DFS, and then on the Club Fantasy FFL channel on YouTube, and the Statement Games and IDP Plus channels as well. Good deal. So make sure like, subscribe, YouTube channel over on the Twitter machine at Jameson Rules. Good luck this week. Rooting for you, praying for you if you don't have the bye like us, because let's get some BBM teams through this week, baby. Yeah, there we go. Especially if you've got best ball stuff too. Make sure you get those teams through and make sure to hit the pay window at the end. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Until next time,
See you guys later. Good luck this